Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. Today, I'm going to be predicting which linebackers make the Redskins 2020 roster and giving you guys a few potential surprise cuts. If you guys are new, subscribe for Redskins and NFL content. So let's get into it. And before we get into it, I'm not going to be doing outside linebackers, so not Kerrigan, not Montez Sweat, Ryan Anderson, and I'm not going to be including Khaleke Hudson because he plays safety, linebacker, and outside linebacker, so I'm not going to be including him. Besides that, let's get started. So the Redskins kept four linebackers last year that were not outside linebackers. The Panthers kept six or five last year. So I think the Redskins are going to keep around 5 to 6 because the Redskins do have an extra roster spot. So let's get started. So the first linebacker that I do think will make the roster is Thomas Davis. Thomas Davis has been with Ron Rivera for a long time in his career, from 2011 until 2018, and then last year he played with the Los Angeles Chargers and still played really, really good for his age. Had about 112 tackles and a sack, so he played really good. And not only is he a decent linebacker, but he is a good veteran presence that will help uh, the young guys develop. He's not as good as he used to be when it comes to coverage. He is 37 years old. If you look at his advanced stats, his coverage, he allows a 65% completion percentage, which is not terrible for a linebacker. He did way better than he did the year before playing under Ron Rivera, but we'll see. I think he's going to make it almost 100% unless he has an injury. I think he's going to make it. Next is Reuben Foster. He's definitely probably the most talented linebacker on a roster. The only thing is, though, he might not make the team because of his injury. And it's not that he won't make the team, but he might start the year on IR or the PUP list. But I think he's definitely the most talented linebacker on the roster. And if he's healthy, he will be probably the starting middle linebacker. He played really good in San Francisco when he was healthy, but he really hasn't been healthy his whole career. But I do think Reuben Foster is going to make it, but it is going to be he could be one of those guys, like I said, that doesn't make the initial roster because he's put on IR or the PUP list. So that could be something to monitor. We'll see. He's not fully healthy yet. It's going to be very interesting to see if we do have a late mini camp or training camp to see how he's doing then, and we'll get a better feel for it if he's going to make the or if he's going to start the year on IR. But I'm really excited for Reuben Foster. So next is Sean Dion Hamilton. Sorry about that. Sean Dion Hamilton has not really played much for the Redskins in his time here in the first 2 years. He's played all 16 games, been healthy most of the season pretty much, but the Redskins haven't chose to play him much, and I think that'll change a bit with Jack Del Rio. If you look at his advanced stats, they are crazy, crazy good. He allowed a 50% completion percentage when quarterbacks were targeting him when he was covering, and only allowed one touchdown and a 52.8 quarterback rating, or passer rating, sorry. He played a lot better than he did in the previous year in 2018. And if you look at this right here, here are the Redskins linebackers PFF grades, and I know it's PFF, but they're not that bad. But if you look at the coverage, Sean Dion Hamilton was second in linebackers in the NFL. Thomas Davis, or for coverage, Thomas Davis was 16th for pass rush. Tackling, Sean Dion Hamilton was 9th. John Bostic was 27th. Cole Holcomb was 15th, and Thomas Davis was 26th. So Sean Dion Hamilton did play good last year when he was on the field, and I think he's still very, very young, and I think the Redskins should use him a lot more than they did this year. Let me know if you guys think he's going to make it. He is one of my breakout candidates for the Redskins this year, and he is still very, very young. He's 24 years old, and he had an interception last year, had a forced fumble, had a sack, 50 tackles, so I think he's going to make the team. Next guy, Cole Holcomb. He is very, very young and very, very raw, but he played all 16 games last year, 3 forced fumbles, 1 pass deflection, a sack, and 100 tackles. He played really, really good for a rookie. His tackling is very, very good. Probably one of the best tackling linebackers uh, as a rookie in the NFL last year. The problem with him, and 6 tackles for loss. The problem with him, he is not a good uh, cover linebacker at all. And he also did have 3 forced fumbles. If you look at his advanced stats, he allowed an 83.6 7% completion percentage, which is horrible. Allowed 343 yards and 2 touchdowns and 115 pass rating. And his tackling was good, like I said. It's just, I think a lot of linebackers struggle with it in their rookie year. He just struggled more than others. So if he can get that down to 70 this year, that would be very good. And 70 still isn't good, but it's a good step, and maybe he can get it down to 65 or 60 in the next year after that. But I think Cole Holcomb is the most surefire player to make this roster out of these linebackers that I'm talking about today, because he's the youngest. He had a really good year last year, and there's no reason why he would get cut. He's super young and raw. You could say Thomas Davis potentially could get cut if everyone's looking healthy and everyone's looking good. I still highly doubt Thomas Davis gets cut, but I think he has a higher chance than Cole Holcomb. So I think Cole Holcomb, I'm expecting big things from him this year. I think his production is going to be a little lower this year because he's going to be playing a little less, because our linebacking core is a lot deeper than it was last year. But I think the quality of play we're going to get from him when he's on the field is going to be a lot better this year than it was last year. Next player is Jon Bostic. So we re-signed Jon Bostic this year, and he played pretty good last year. Had 100 tackles, 1 sack, 2 pass deflections, and an interception. Played pretty good. He was a good signing that we had after we cut Mason Foster, and I'm excited to see what he can do this year. I think he's going to make the roster, but he definitely could be a guy that, like I said, kind of like Thomas Davis, if everyone's healthy, and Bostic's playing okay, then there's a chance that he does get cut. I do think he's going to make the roster, but out of the guys I said so far, he has the highest chance of getting cut. He could be just another camp body. Let's look at his advanced stats from last year. So last year allowed a 76.1 completion percentage, 99 passer rating. So not as bad as Cole Holcomb for coverage, but still not very good. Not a good um, coverage linebacker, but still better than Cole Holcomb. And I think he's going to get playing time. Of course, he's not going to have over 100 tackles this year, just because he's not going to get nearly as much playing time as he did last year, because you're going to have Sean Deon Hamilton probably playing more. Thomas Davis is going to play a lot, and Reuben Foster potentially, if he's healthy, he's going to play a lot too. So next guy is Kevin Pierre-Louis, and I definitely think he's going to make the team unless he doesn't play good in training camp at all. But they did go out of their way, signed him in free agency, and he's going to be more of a depth guy. He's going to come in if someone's injured, but he also is really good in special teams. He's a good special teams guy that's going to play a lot in special teams. Last year with Chicago, had his best year because he got to start a few games at the end of the season when they had a few linebackers hurt. So he played pretty good when he was out there. If you look at his stats, coverage stats were okay. 66% completion percentage, and which is okay, and then a 55.1 pass rating, which is really good coverage right there. He didn't play that much. He had an interception, but he didn't play that much. Only got targeted 21 times, but that is not bad right there. Anything under 70% for a linebacker is pretty good. If you're a corner, you want it under 60%, 65%, but linebackers are obviously not as good at covering than cornerbacks. So next guy on my list, or those are my 6 I think are going to make it. Maybe Reuben Foster starts a year on IR, so it's 5 that initially make the roster. With maybe Jon Bostic getting cut if everyone else is healthy, maybe they just use him as a camp bod. But the next guy that's really the only other notable name on the roster is Josh Harvey-Clemens, and I think he's going to get cut. If you look at his production, he really hasn't done anything in the last 3 years that he's played for the Redskins. Played 9 games last year, only had 3 tackles total, so really didn't do much at all. I really doubt he's going to make the roster, especially since we have so many linebackers on the team compared to the years prior, that I really doubt he makes it unless he absolutely lights it up in training camp and in the preseason. If we do end up having a preseason, I think he's gonna get cut. Jack Del Rio did not mention him at all in the press conference. He mentioned all these other linebackers, but did not mention Josh Harvey Clemens. So those are linebackers I have making the roster: Thomas Davis, Reuben Foster, Sean Dion Hamilton, Cole Holcomb, John Bostic, and Kevin Pierre-Louis, with possibly John Bostic getting cut. I do think he's going to make it, like I said, but definitely a chance he gets cut. If Reuben Foster is healthy, I think then it's probably like a 60-70% chance he gets cut. If not, though, we do have extra roster spots. Remember, instead of it being 53, it is 55-man roster this year. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the linebackers I said making the team. Remember, Khaleke Hudson, I think he's going to make the team. We invested a 5th-round pick in him, but I'm not putting him in the linebacker because we really don't know what he's going to play yet, so I don't want to put him in a specific role because he could play outside linebacker, or safety. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash the like button. Give me some video suggestions down in the comments and turn on notifications so you never miss a video, and peace.